Hey, it's Buddy Lee. Welcome to my channel. So I've been messing around with Dormammu lately, and I've decided to take him to rank 2. He has great power control utility and amazing regen as well, but his biggest issue has always been damage. This issue is addressed pretty well with just one synergy, and I'll be showing that as well as a solid team that he can be used with in some Act 7.3 gameplay. So this is Dormammu just by himself. We land a heavy and then build up to 100. Once we get there, we land another heavy to do the burst damage. So without the synergy, the burst damage is going for 17k damage, and then jumping to the end result of the fight, it took 151 hits to take down Winter Soldier, which is not too great. Now let's look at the same thing, and this time with the I-Hulk synergy to compare. This synergy increases Dormammu attack rating by 75% based upon Dark Energy. We build Dark Energy when draining the defender's power, which we do by landing the second medium, and once it goes to 100 we get the green imbued icon. This means our Dark Energy is full and we get the attack bonus from the synergy. This increased our burst damage to 25k, and it's also going to boost basic hits and specials, especially when we have the green imbued icon. Jumping to the end again, we now took down this Winter Soldier in only 103 hits, which is much more respectable. Now I'm going to show a team that I think he fits really well into before we test him in some endgame Act 7.3 content. We start out with I-Hulk and then bring in Sim Supreme, and these are the two synergies that really help out Dormammu. Here is I-Hulk giving the 75% increased attack rating based upon Dark Energy. It also banks half of I-Hulk's health as Gamma to start the fight, and I'll show that a little. And then Sim Supreme gives Dorm an extra 50% regeneration off of his empowered Soul Bond, which is nuts because it's already a huge regen without the synergy. These last two spots don't affect Dormammu, but I think it makes for a solid team by adding in Spider-Gwen, who benefits from Sim Supreme with an extra 10% attack rating per Spider Sense, and then Penny Parker, who lets Gwen and herself start with 4 extra Spider Sense charges. Okay, this is Act 7.3.1, and we're taking the path that has Power from Afar, Unblockable Specials, and Mighty Charge. We start the fight with a heavy as usual, and then build that debuff to 100, then land a heavy again for the burst damage. I like to do this one more time as we build to an SP3, and then we get the Soul Bond and can land that burst damage again while getting the big regen. We want to make sure that that green imbued icon is active before launching the SP3 because that's what's going to let us regen afterwards. If you do it right, we get a green buff, and while that's active, you get regen based upon the burst damage from the heavy. So here, we regen 15k health from the heavy burst damage done. And if you can cycle that burst damage again before the green buff expires, you can land another regen, basically letting you go from almost 0 health to full in one SP3. So we finish this fight at 100% health and in 44 hits. This next fight against Agent Venom is really tough because of the unblockable specials, and the fact that you can't dex his SP1 means if he throws it, he's gonna hit you. So here we'll use Spider-Gwen, since based upon how many Spider Sense charges she has, she'll evade unblockable special attacks. And the Penny Parker synergy lets her begin the fight with 5 Spider Sense charges, making her unhittable from these attacks right off the start. Make sure you aren't holding blocks or she won't evade the hits, and then this fight just becomes really fun as I'm able to just keep going for intercepts, and if he throws specials, Spider-Gwen will just evade them and then I can counter it. We get a couple huge crits on the SP2 to finish this fight off. Since Sentinel has some anti-power drain mechanics that will go against Storm, we'll use this fight to show what the synergy does for iHulk by banking the 50% health as Gamma to start the fight. One thing this synergy does is allow iHulk to benefit from his Awakened ability right away. At 25 Gamma, he can land stuns at a 5% rate when hitting the defender, and also at 50 Gamma, we apply a big weakness debuff after each stun. The other benefit from this synergy is that you can get into his immortal phase quicker and potentially end fights faster this way, but overall it's not that big of a synergy for iHulk. Alright, now we'll focus back on Dormammu for the rest of the video. We're getting some extra bonus damage from the node here, but that was a solid 75k heavy. Alright, we took some damage on that SP1, which is perfect because now we're about to use our SP3 regen. And we're back to 100%. On this fight against Thor Rags, we're going to focus a little more on power control off of the SP2. So we have the green imbued icon, which is what you want when launching the SP2. This will power drain on each hit and then will power lock for 8 seconds. If the spacing is good, you can throw the heavy right off of SP2 and then get the burst damage. So this is another very effective way to play him if you're looking more at power control instead of regen sustainability. At this point, I really don't want him to get to an SP2 since it'll be unblockable, so I'll land double mediums for the power drain while waiting for him to throw the SP1. Again, he's close to SP2, so I land this combo waiting to go imbued again, and then throw the SP2 for the power drain. We're gonna go with the red goblin boss fight, and in this one he gains a ton of fury buffs, but if you nullify them, he'll gain power and get an SP3. So we're gonna try to use SP3s, SP2s, and SP1s in this fight to deal with him. So first we'll go with the SP3 and we'll get our regen off of this. Now, because of a node on this fight, we have a passive power lock. This is our opportunity to nullify all of those fury buffs by throwing an SP1 while imbued, and he can't get the power gain from nullifying them. We used our SP2 and have a power lock active, so this is where I should have used SP1 again to nullify the furies, but I did the heavy burst damage instead. Not a big deal, but we have to worry about taking any blocks from Red Goblin while he has all these furies. So we took down this 630k health pool boss fight in 116 hits, which isn't mind-blowing, but it's actually not bad at all considering all of Dormammu's utility, and this is mainly due to the one synergy with iHulk. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.